Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1895B, and today's date is June 17th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Blacksite Dismantled, New Deal Coming, Boom. Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about VPNs. The Department of Homeland Security has officially come out and said foreign-based VPNs can pose a security risk to the United States government. Virtual Shield is located in the United States, which respects user data laws but does not log its users' browser's history. This month, Virtual Shield is offering a Father's Day celebration special of 20% off all VPN plans and all premium add-ons. Sign up for a free 30-day trial by clicking the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, we know from Q that a lot of these countries like North Korea, Venezuela, Cuba, Iran, they have black sites within each of these countries, where the black sites, they're made up of CIA intelligence operatives, where they control the leaders of these countries, and they push them to do certain things. And we know with North Korea, Trump was able to remove the black site in North Korea. And you can see Kim Jong-un, he is free from the intelligence apparatus. I think the same thing's happening in Venezuela and Cuba and Iran. But something very interesting happened today, and the mainstream media is really not reporting on it, which makes it very, very interesting. And it might be that the black site in Iran, well, that was removed. We'll be talking about that in just a minute. But first, let's start off with why the deep state is panicking. Their entire impeachment narrative, well, it just went down the drain. There is no case. Trump tweeted out the following. Almost 70% in new polls say don't impeach. So ridiculous to even be talking about the subject when all of the crimes were committed by the other side. They can't win the election fairly. And we can see by the recent poll numbers, the mainstream media, they are using the same exact playbook that they used back in 2016. They're showing that all the other candidates, they're in the lead and Trump is trailing behind. But yet, when Trump goes to every single city, it's a packed house and people are standing in line to see him. When these other candidates go to each of these cities, there's nothing like it whatsoever. And we saw this with Clinton if we go back in time. And guess what happened? Trump won. But the deep state, the mainstream media, they're still trying to do what they've always done. But guess what? People are catching on. People know what's going on. And we also know that Obama has been shadowing Trump and visiting leaders every time Trump visits a leader or goes ahead and visits a leader before Trump gets there. Now again, this is a violation of the Logan Act. But we see what Obama is doing. He's running a shadow government. And he's trying to keep all their deals in place. But it's not going to work. Now, what's very interesting is that earlier this month, Italian Prime Minister Conte asked for the resignations of 4 top intelligence officials after his call with President Trump. Obama is secretly on his way to meet with Renzi in Italy. George Papadopoulos tweeted out, 2 weeks after I exposed Italy's role in Spygate, Obama is heading to Italy today to meet with the former Italian Prime Minister who weaponized his intel assets against us. Keep focused, America. The real headlines are now coming out. He continued, I guarantee you, Matteo Salvini from Italy is not in D.C. to talk about immigration with Vice President Pence tomorrow. Spygate is the hot topic. Its impact is reverberating throughout the world. Now, Obama was just vacationing in France, hopped over to Italy, and you can see that he's trying to talk to the deep state operatives in all these countries. But we know that this is not going to work. And I think the Italians have a lot of information that may be of interest to A.G. Barr and his investigation into the deep state. Numerous individuals in Italy are suspected of having knowledge of an attempt by former President Obama to utilize the Italian intel network to set up Trump, leading to his removal from office. And it is highly probable that former President Obama and his deep state FBI worked with foreign countries like Italy to assist in the removal of Trump from office. Now Obama and his accomplices are trying hard to cover it all up. Now, is this the reason why he's out there, to try to cover up what has been done? I think it's too late. There's no way. In the beginning, he was out there trying to push their agenda. Now, it seems like Obama is out there trying to cover up everything that they've done. And like we've always said, the cover-up always gets you. And that is what is happening right now. Now, Trump, he's not letting up. He's continuing with his attacks on the deep state. He brings up Christopher Steele, who is a foreign agent. Very interesting, after he went out of his way to say, listen, I would accept intel from a foreign agent on my opponent. And of course, the mainstream media, politicians, they all went crazy. That's an outrage. We had the chairman of the FEC come out and say, hey, this is the law. You can't do this. And this was part of the plan. The plan was to inform the American people of what Obama, Clinton, Brennan, Clapper, and the rest have done, to bring the people up to speed, to get them on the same page. Trump tweeted out the following: when will the fake news media start asking Democrats if they are okay with hiring of Christopher Steele, a foreign agent paid for by crooked Hillary and the DNC, to dig up dirt and write a phony dossier against the presidential candidate of the opposing party? If Republicans ever did that to Democrats, there'd be an all hell to pay. It would be a scandal like no other. And if you notice, he's continually pushing this out there. He wants the deep state to respond. And of course, who responded? Clinton. Hillary Clinton tweeted out the following: on the one hand, the president makes nonstop outlandish claims in his recent at ABC interview about my campaign and Russia. On the other hand, Paul Manafort, Michael Cohen, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, Rick Gates, George Papadopoulos, and the entire Mueller report. Well, all of them did not collude with Russia. Most of these individuals were charged with lying. So what does this have to do with anything? And if we're talking about Roger Stone, that brings up a very interesting point. Discovery is a wonderful, wonderful thing. What is Roger Stone doing right now? Well, think about what happened. They went in, they arrested him, they raided his house. They had CNN waiting there because it was leaked, and they made a full production of this. And they dragged him out of his house in handcuffs and paraded him around on TV. Well, they made their move back then. Now Roger Stone is making his move. The entire Russian narrative is falling apart. What did Roger Stone do? He filed 2 documents with the courts. The first document was a 15-page reply from Stone to the government's opposition to a motion to suppress. In the first document, Stone filed his reply to the government's opposition to his motion to suppress all evidence as fruit of illegal search warrants and evidentiary hearings. He stated the following: the specific challenge to the truthfulness of all the warrants is the unproven claim that the Russian state transferred the DNC and DCCC and other campaign officials' data to WikiLeaks. Or, said a different way, WikiLeaks received the data from the Russian state. The government should not have represented this as a fact to the various district judges and magistrates in order to obtain the search warrants. Stone continued, the government has never had to prove its case. The series of misrepresentation is foundational. The government does not dispute in its opposition. The office cannot rule out that stolen documents were transferred to WikiLeaks through intermediaries who visited during the summer of 2016. Now, this is devastating to the deep state and the Mueller gang. Even though the government claims that the Russians sent emails to WikiLeaks, the government agrees it cannot prove it, and yet the government used this as the basis for obtaining all warrants related to the Mueller investigation and all actions related to the fake Russian collusion farce. Stone continues, because the Russian state did not transfer the data to WikiLeaks, all other allegations, including communications with Assange or WikiLeaks, are irrelevant and immaterial to investigation about Russian interference with the 2016 election. Now, Roger Stone didn't stop there. This is where it gets really, really good. He filed another reply with the court. This 5-page document relates to the court's opposition to a motion to compel. Now, in this document, Stone compels the government to obtain and provide to Stone the unredacted portions of the Crowdstrike report that the FBI and the Mueller gang used to create the Russia investigation and the Mueller investigation. This is going to be devastating to the deep state because it was never proven. It was never investigated. They just took the word of Crowdstrike. And this is going to be their downfall. Because we already know the Russians didn't do it. They already know the Russians didn't do it. And we already know that WikiLeaks did not talk to Russia. We know it was an inside job. And Roger Stone now is moving fast forward with the discovery process. We want all the information. Listen, you arrested me. You brought me out. You paraded me around. Now it's my move. Boom. Now down at the border, we see that the feds, they have arrested human smugglers with 22 migrants on the Texas border river. The Del Rio Sector Border Patrol agents apprehended a human smuggler attempting to bring 22 migrants across the Rio Grande near Eagle Pass, Texas. And they were down there, and these individuals, they were on a boat, and they were trying to get to the United States. And what did they find? Well, a group of about 22 Honduran family units, including small children and human smuggler who operated the raft. An official said the smuggler has an extensive history of immigration violation and was deported in April of 2008. And he's being charged with violation of 8 U.S.C. 1324, alien smuggling. And we can see that the Border Patrol agents, they are doing their job. And the wall is being built. Remember, all of this is being done for a purpose. And the deep state, they're trying to stop this because they know if a wall is built and the Border Patrol agents actually do their job, all these individuals will no longer have access in getting into this country. The drugs, the human trafficking, these individuals brought to different sanctuary cities, which that is now ending. All of it comes to an end. Now, out in Iran, we see something very interesting. Iran is saying that time is short for Europe to save the international nuclear deal with Tehran. Iran President Hassan Rouhani said this today. So they're saying, listen, Europe, you better do something, because if you don't, the whole entire thing goes down the tubes. Now, we also know that as Iran is producing a lot more uranium than they're supposed to. Actually, Trump tweeted out the following: Iran to defy uranium stockpile limits. Now, this is very interesting. That's all he said, which means the Iranians are no longer sticking to the deal. And they're saying, listen, we're going to just keep violating the deal because the deal is no longer good. Now, what's very interesting is that we had this event where Pompeo, Bolton, and Trump, they were all out there saying, yes, the Iranians have done this. Now, we know that they were using this as a cover story. And we know that there were certain deep state operatives that were trying to create a war and try to get something started. But we know that Trump is not going to fall for this. And what we're seeing is that there was something else at play with these tankers. Now, the Japanese government, they've been requesting that the United States provide concrete evidence to back its assertion that Iran is to blame for the attacks on 2 tankers near the Strait of Hormuz. Remember, the individuals on the tanker say it was a flying object. Now, I believe Pompeo, Trump, Bolton, they all went out there and they kept the story going, and it was for a specific reason. First of all, they wanted to keep the mainstream media very, very busy, thinking that Trump is going to war, that we're going to invade Iran, and he did this with North Korea. The reason he is doing this is because he's working on a backroom deal with Iran, which I believe is already done. Now we're getting word that Iran has dismantled a CIA-run large U.S. cyber espionage network in Iran. Now, this is very interesting. So there was an entire intelligence Blacksite in Iran, a network of CIA officers, and they were dismantled. It looks like the Blacksite was removed from Iran. And what does that mean? It means that Iran is now free to operate without the intelligence operatives telling them and forcing them to do something they don't want to do. And why do you think Obama, Kerry, the Obama administration, why do you think they were all out there speaking with the Iranian officials? It was for a specific reason. First of all, it was a violation of the Logan Act. But secondly, why would they be so concerned if it just had to do with a nuclear deal? The only reason you would go to speak to someone is if you have skin in the game, if there's evidence there, and you're trying to hide something. Because otherwise, you just wouldn't care. Unless it affected you. That's why these individuals were out there. And I want to go back to post 1454. This is June 11th, 2018. EU sanctions Iran. Leaders of the EU only care about protecting the flow of money, not the safety and security of their people world. Iran deal orchestrated for the sole purpose of lifting sanctions blockade to allow access of foreign businesses for individual and company-wide enrichment. Scam. Nothing to do with nukes. It was a cover story. Hussein pallets of cash. Hussein's secret authority to convert to US dollars. More coming. No mainstream media coverage. Got popcorn? Fast forward to June 27, 2018, post 1604. We stand with the good people of Iran who are currently battling their installed regime for freedom. True rule. The people have the power. Rise up and demand they be removed. At some point, military generals will act with the will of the people simply because their soldiers are those same people and have no choice. We stand with you. We are monitoring the situation closely. Stay safe. God bless. Then we move to post 1943. This is August 28, 2018. Watch Iran. Something incredible is about to happen. Hassan Rouhani, in brackets, bold. These are kill brackets. The good people of Iran have the power. Fight for your freedom. And I believe that's exactly what they're doing right now. And you can see the patriots, they are in control. And I do believe we're going to be hearing news about all of this coming up very, very soon. And the mainstream media is really not reporting on this whatsoever. Now, something very interesting. Trump came out and he was telling ABC News' George Stephanopoulos that Iraq did not knock down the World Trade Center. He says it was other people. And I think I know who the other people were. And you might also. Now, I'm just going to stop right there because that is very interesting. Why would he say that? Unless truth is headed our way. And again, if we go back to Q's post, truth and transparency is the only way forward. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.